how do you color grade your videos? Do you think 4K and high frame rate is necessary for videos that are going to be uploaded to social networks? As far as bigger lenses, is a 70 to 200mm f2.8 the best to start with? In this video, we're gonna answer all of those questions and more. Hey, what's going on? My name is Sarellas. I'm a videographer and editor from Toronto, Canada. I specialize in sports videography. And in today's video, I am answering your questions. A few weeks back, I put out a post on my community tab asking you to submit your questions about sports videography or otherwise, and I got a whole bunch of good ones. So we're gonna go through and just read them and answer some of your most frequently asked questions. I was really hoping to save this video for like a 5,000 subscriber video or something, but honestly, I just couldn't wait. I just saw those questions and I didn't really want to answer them, so we're just kind of pushing this ahead and doing it now. And I'm gonna have to do something else for the 5,000 subscriber milestone when we get there. So stay tuned for that, I guess, but I don't know what that's gonna be yet. One note I should make, if my sound is like very echoey and bad in here, because I just moved into a new space, I haven't sound treated any of this yet. You can also see that my lighting setup is kind of janky. Like this screen that you can very clearly see in the frame is my hair light, just like, it's not the best setup. The walls are all white and blank. It's gonna be better, but bear with me for this video, maybe a couple others. Anyhow, here is our first question, and it's from Press B, who says, I'm sure you get a lot of questions about pricing, but tips on charging students, high school/college versus organizations would be awesome. As far as pricing and like charging individuals, particularly students versus organizations, I personally don't like to charge students. I don't like to charge high schoolers or even college students really, because like they don't have the money to be spending on proper video production. And I know that when you're in high school, you're in college, like money's kind of tight. You don't want to be spending so much money to just get like a little mix of yourself or something like that. So I just stray away from that. As a professional, 95% of the time or more, I'm working with organizations. Organizations are actively invested in producing good quality media because the media that they use online to represent themselves or on commercials or anywhere else where they may be putting video is gonna generate interest for the product or service that they're selling. And that's gonna in turn generate them revenue. So they want their media to look really good so that they can get more clients interested and sell more product or get more people to buy tickets or hire them or whatever else it's gonna be. So those organizations are willing to spend the appropriate amount of money to get good media. But a student, like they want something as more a memory, like a keepsake, something that they can look back on, show their friends. And there's no like revenue that they're generating as a result of that media. So they don't really have the money to justify paying for that media. And, you know, that's fine. It doesn't mean they don't get it. Like, it doesn't mean you can't go and shoot high school, you can't shoot college. Like I know in the US, maybe not as much in Canada, but definitely in the US, college sports can be a very lucrative business to get into. There's a lot of money there. And even if you're just shooting high school, that's totally fine. I love shooting high school sports. Like it's fun, you can build a portfolio, you have a lot of autonomy to do whatever you want, and there's a lot of just like raw emotion and energy in high school sports. So it's still good, like go do it by all means, but don't go filming high school kids and college kids expecting to like make an annual salary off of that, because the money's just not there. You gotta really focus on selling your products and services to organizations and tailoring your video services to what they're trying to sell to their clients, and making sure that your videos can be a tool that they use as part of a larger marketing plan. All right, our next question is from Colin Marnell, and Colin asks, how do you color grade your videos? I get this question a lot, and fortunately, I actually just did a tutorial going over exactly how I color grade my sports videos. I usually do so using my sports video LUT pack, and in this video linked right up here, I go through and color grade my sports videos with the LUT pack that I use on a regular basis, as well as do some from scratch so that you can see the difference between the two, and I go over my process for both methods. If you want to go check that video, it's going to be linked right up here, but go check it out after this video. Our next question is from Hussein.fcb10, and Hussein asks, how to make the clips in your video go together. Example, I have the ending and the beginning of the video sorted, but how will I arrange the clips in the middle? This is a good question, and when you're editing, this is really something you have to figure out before you even like start. You need to make sure you have a game plan of what you want your edit to look like. Maybe I'll use soccer video as an example, just because I think that's the most recent thing that I've edited. But like if I'm filming a soccer video, I want to look back at that game that I just filmed and peg all the important moments that need to be in there. So kickoff, any goals that happen, and definitely the end of the game and like the celebration when the team wins, or maybe some disappointment when they lose, if that's fitting for your video. And then you want to think about other aspects that you need to show in this video. You want to show fans cheering. You probably want to get some B-roll of the team's logos and their name and stuff so that their branding is prevalent in the video. You can write on a physical piece of paper or like use an Excel document or something. I mean, okay, from 0 seconds to 3 seconds, we're gonna show a really exciting play to draw the viewer in. From 3 seconds to 6 seconds, we're gonna show a slow motion B-roll shot of the players walking into the stadium. And then we're gonna cut at 6 seconds until 8 seconds to a close-up of a logo on the shirt of one of the players who's walking in. And you wanna go through and like really plan your edit out like this. Ideally, you should actually be doing this like before you even go to shoot, so you have a mini shot list and you know what you have to take off. That will make your edit a lot easier. And if you plan like this, then you don't need to wonder what's gonna happen in the middle of your edit because you already have exactly what you need in a detailed plan. And obviously you're gonna go shoot stuff and you're gonna get things that you didn't expect, and you can't predict how an event is gonna go until it actually happens. So you're gonna have to adjust, but if you have like a rough outline of what your edit should look like start to end, including the middle, then you'll be able to shoot all the clips you need to fill those parts in, and anything extra that you get can just be bonus and you can make modifications as needed. But this way you'll never be wondering what to put in an edit if it's not long enough and you have no good clips left. All right, next up, Juani BT asks, do you think 4K and high frame rate is necessary for videos that are going to be uploaded to social networks? My short answer to this is no, but let me explain. So as you probably know, videos that are uploaded online get compressed, especially to social networks like Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Your video just isn't gonna look as good on that social network after uploading as it does when you airdrop it to your phone right after you export. And that's just how it is. There's nothing we can do about that. So a lot of the time on these social networks, you can't even tell the difference between like a 4K video and a 1080p video. But what you can tell the difference between is how your subject is lit, is your shot in focus, how is your shot composed, and especially if I'm uploading to social networks, but really just in general, I would rather take a shot that's filmed in 1080p or even 720p that has great lighting, is composed perfectly, it has the focus on point, than something that's shot in 4K, 6K, or 8K, it doesn't even matter, where the lighting is bad and the subject's not in focus totally, and like it just doesn't look appealing. So for me personally, I don't think you need 4K for any of that. Is it nice to have 4K? Absolutely. You can't like discredit that or say otherwise. To have the ability to crop in a little bit if you need to know that you can just downscale your footage to 1080p and it'll have less noise than if you shot the exact same shot at 1080 is great. But do you need 4K to make a video that's really, really good? Absolutely not. And I don't think you need it for social networks if you don't have it. All right, I think we got a few more here. Next up, Sam So Crazy asks, when filming games with the intent to make highlight reels, are you filming individual plays or will you film the action for a few minutes at a time? Sorry if it's a noob question. I do photography, looking to expand to video. Yeah, no noob questions at all. When I'm filming, I actually like to stop after every single action. So if I'm taking basketball, for example, every single time someone scores a point, like excluding free throws, I will cut it and make a new clip. If I'm filming free throws, I will film the player shoot their 2 shots and then I'll stop it. This allows me to take my footage back into the edit, and then I can label every single file without having to like recut them or put markers. And I know that like, okay, file C0070 was a layup by player X. And I can like change the file name to reflect that using a file naming system. And I'm not gonna get into my file naming system, there's a lot of them out there. But then when I search for that clip of player X making a layup, that clip C0070 is gonna appear. And I don't need to worry about scrubbing through 4 minutes of additional footage that were caught into that same file just to find the one play that I need. So I personally like doing that. It also allows me to make notes on my phone of specific files that have one play in them that I really like. And when I'm doing in-game edits, then I can just run to my computer. I know exactly what clip I need to get one specific play out, and I just drag that clip on my timeline. I barely have to cut it because it already has the play right in there, and then I can just export it. So it really speeds up my workflow to just film individual plays and not film for minutes at a time. But this also depends on your sport. If you're filming something like soccer, where there's like 2 goals a game, you can't really be stopping all the time because you never know when something's gonna happen, right? So it's a situational thing, but when I can, I like to stop after every single action. All right, next up we have Cash Jenkins, and Cash asks, since the sports videography world is getting bigger by the day, would you recommend someone take it on as a hobby? I want to get into it, but I feel like I have nothing that would set me apart from other videographers. I think that just in general, everyone needs some hobbies that they can just have as hobbies that they don't focus on monetizing, that they can just pick up for pure enjoyment and do whenever they want. It's just like something that makes you happy, and it'll just help you live a happier life, in my opinion. But aside from that, you don't need to have something that's gonna like differentiate you from day one of being a sports videographer, or anything for that matter. Like when you first start, you're just gonna be learning the basics. You're not gonna be able to like add that extra sauce or find your own unique style until way later, when you have all the basics mastered and you're starting to learn more advanced techniques. Then you're combining these advanced techniques with other ideas that you have and making things that are original, or at least like someone else's idea, but modified to your own unique twist. And if you don't have that right away, like that's totally fine. What's important is that you're enjoying what you're doing, you're an eager learner, and you're just having a good time and focusing on getting better. So if you just want to go film a sports game because you think it's really fun to play with cameras and make videos, then by all means, I think you should do it. Don't even worry about monetizing. If you never want to monetize your craft, that is a-okay. So if you want to get into this as a hobby, I say 100% go do it. And yeah, don't worry about differentiating yourself. Don't second guess yourself. Just have fun with it and you'll figure it out as you go. All right, I think this next one's gonna be our last question for the day. So Fish Visions asks, as far as bigger lenses, is a 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8 the best to start with, or would you recommend a different one? This is tough. This is tough because a 70 to 200 f2.8 as a sports videographer is like your dream lens. Like you can shoot pretty much any sport with that, and it's gonna look pretty good. But if you don't know, and I'm assuming you do if you're watching stuff about sports videography and you film sports, 70 to 200 millimeter lenses at an f2.8 aperture are pretty darn expensive. I personally don't even have one. I shoot all my stuff on a 70 to 200 f4, and I think it looks just fine. Like I see no problems with it. If you have the money for a 70 to 200 f2.8 and you want to go get one because you know that you're going to shoot a whole bunch of different sports, or you're a specialist in one thing and you're monetizing your craft and you just want to go spend that $3,000 or whatever it is and get that lens, then power to you. It's a great tool and you'll probably be able to use it really, really well to make some awesome content. But if you're just beginning, I definitely don't think you need a 70 to 200 2.8. You don't even really need a 70 to 200 at all. If you're just beginning, I'm assuming you're going to be on a camera that's like a crop sensor camera, something like the A6000 line. And those cameras have a crop factor of approximately 1.6 times your regular full frame camera. So if you own one of those cameras and you go out and buy a lens like the 18 to 105 millimeter f4, that's gonna be like, and I'm doing quick math at the top of my head here, about a 170 millimeter equivalent on the long end. And that's pretty darn close to 200 millimeters, and you don't need to pay nearly as much money as a 70 to 200. So if you're just starting, you could easily get away with a setup like that for much cheaper than a full frame camera and an expensive 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8. And I think that you'd be totally fine. Now, one thing to look out for is the new 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8 Mark II from Sony just got released. And I would expect that to bring the price of the Mark I down quite a bit. So if you're looking to get a 70 to 200 millimeter 2.8 around the time that this video is launched, just keep checking Facebook on like Craigslist or Kijiji or whatever you use. Keep checking for like used camera postings. You might see some 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8 lenses pop up for a little bit cheaper than you're used to seeing them, and it might be a good time to snag one. So something to consider, but do you need one? No, you don't really need one if you're just starting. All right, that is going to be all for this video. If you found this video helpful or you learned something, then please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because I post videography and video editing tips and tutorial videos similar to this one on a regular basis, and I would love to have you around for those. And if you have any other questions or I didn't answer one of the questions that you had in mind, then drop it down in the comments. I'll try to get back to everyone down there, and I would love to have a chat with you. Anyways, that's going to be all for this video. So until next time, peace.